Hi, and welcome to the question of the month. This month's question is, when should you disqualify a donor and why? And Richard, this month you get to answer that question.
Oh, this is a great topic, qualification of donors. I want to just explain why we do it. All right, so there's two objectives in caseload management or donor management.
Right.
One is to serve the donor, serve their passions and interests, help them fulfill their passions and interests.
Yeah.
And the other one is to develop net revenue for the organization. I mean, otherwise, how's the organization going to run?
Exactly.
So when we're talking about disqualifying a donor, it's basically, well, are one of those two things not working? Like,
Right.
for instance, in serving the donor's passions and interests, the donor just decides not to talk to you anymore. I mean, they're unresponsive.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you've got to basically say, well, I need to disqualify them. Or if they're responsive, but they actually have less net revenue contribution to the mission of the organization, you can't afford to have that donor on the caseload.
Because then somebody that wants to come on to the caseload that could give more can't because you already have a full caseload.
Exactly. And now, a lot of times people look at these two things and say, well, those are contradictory. They can't live together.
Yeah.
Well, they can live together. You just have to find donors who are responsive that you can serve in terms of their passions and interests, and donors who are going to contribute net revenue to the organization at a level that meets the goals and metrics of the caseload.
Right. What do you say though to an MGO? Because we've heard this from them. Hey, I've had this donor on for a long time and I know they're not giving as much, but I just love them so much.
Well, I know, George, you love them so much, but it's probably if they don't pass those two tests that I said earlier in terms of ability to serve them, which
Yeah.
in this case, if you love them, you're serving them, but they're not developing net revenue.
Right.
You really need to replace them on your caseload.
Yep. Well, thank you for joining us on Question of the Month. Hey, we have a free resource for you. It's a white paper on how to qualify donors. Go to veritasgroup.com/resources and you'll find it there. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next month.